Talking with State Representative Jim Struzzi this morning. Our visit presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. Well, Bubba Chandler is frustrated, that's the word he used, about not being a Pittsburgh Pirate. The Pittsburgh Steelers' Patrick Queen is frustrated with the way they tried to play against Tampa Bay yesterday in their joint practice. Representative Jim Struzzi is frustrated as well, as are all the other lawmakers in Harrisburg trying to work out a state budget. We're a little bit late on this thing, aren't we? Representative Struzzi, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. Yes, we are very much late, about 6 weeks overdue for a state budget here in the Commonwealth. And as you saw, we tried to take some positive steps forward this week, but we were not successful.
All right. So what are you hearing about why they decided not to move forward? Democrats voted down the Republican-passed Senate budget, which was a stopgap just to get schools and others who need this money, get them their funds so they can get back to operating almost on a normal basis.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that approach made perfect sense. Here we are, 6 weeks beyond our deadline for the state budget. We could have at least let some funding move for these school districts, nonprofits, hospitals, others who rely on these essential services from state government. And unfortunately, the Democrats decided to just shut it down. I really did not understand that. I didn't understand why they chose to move so quickly as well. They could have taken their time. We could have worked with them to take the Senate bill that they sent over, which was last year's budget numbers, Senate Bill 160. We could have used that as a vehicle to craft some amendments, meet somewhere in the middle, continue the discussion, the dialogue moving forward, to continue the negotiations while still allowing people to have that funding that they need. But instead, they chose to literally vote it down the very next day on party lines, which was extremely frustrating to me. Being the appropriations chairman for one thing, but also understanding how important it is that we have these funds available for these entities that need them. And rather than even having a meaningful discussion on it, they simply voted it down.
Well, what are they proposing as an alternative?
Well, I think that's where the problems are right now, Todd, is they still want the big spend. They still want either the governor's $51.5 billion spend or their alternative proposal, which is the $50.6 billion spend, and I don't think they're willing to be flexible on that, and I think that's where the problems come in. They saw this budget that the Senate passed over to us as unacceptable in their eyes because they want the big spend. They want, to fulfill all these things that they have made promises on that we simply can't afford to do. And as I have said from the beginning, all the way back to when the governor first introduced his spending proposal in February, that he's building false expectations by putting these big numbers out there when we don't have the revenues to cover them. And now the Democrats have essentially entrenched themselves in these big, high spend numbers that we know we don't have the revenues to fund. And if we move forward in this path, as we have said for many months now as well, the state is not going to have any money in reserve. We're not going to have any money in the event of an emergency. And you want to talk about cuts. If we don't even have the money to fund the basic essential services that we have to fund, we're going to look at some serious challenges ahead for this Commonwealth. And I think that's where the problems lie, in that they're not willing to budge on those high spend numbers.
And, of course, with this vote this week, to not go ahead and give at least some money to our school districts and others, you're obviously going to be hearing plenty from those who need it and who are going to be forced to take out loans, then pay interest, and that's going to be even more harmful. Is this a case of who blinks first?
In some respects, yes, but I think it's unfortunate that they're using these entities literally as playing pieces because they're holding their money hostage. We tried to get that money flowing to give them some relief, to give them some funds to work with here as we get into fall already. School's starting, and it's a concern. And I don't think that it's fair to those entities that are relying on these state funds when we had the opportunity here on Wednesday to allow those funds to flow, to allow these entities to at least have something rather than nothing. And now this really sets us back some in the negotiation process as well, because there was a lot of grandstanding in Harrisburg. There was a lot of political posturing, which really frustrates me because I am about getting things done in a real sincere manner, not just in press conferences or videos as the administration likes to do, but really getting things done in a meaningful way for our constituents. And we had an opportunity to do that, and we missed it.
Well, there was, it's hardly ever a good time to say that the dam has broken, but are there at least some cracks?
Yeah, I think, even though the vote was party line, both on the transit bill that was voted down by the Democrats in the Rules Committee and then the Appropriations Committee meeting that followed that with the budget bill and Senate Bill 160, I think there's still, a willingness to work together to try and do something that's positive but still responsible with taxpayer dollars. What that looks like and where we're going to land that, I can't say. And I hope that the administration and House Democrats realize that this is a very serious situation. We're getting into mid-August. We are in mid-August, and these entities really need these funds. And we cannot continue to simply grab headlines without some meaningful dialogue behind what we're trying to do.
Getting everybody back to Harrisburg becomes a problem now, right?
If we have to be there, we have to be there. I was there twice this week, and that's what people elect us to do. I understand that a lot of the rank and file members, it may be challenging, but when we're called to duty, we have to make that our priority.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll continue to hope that something finally breaks and that we can get the money flowing again out of Harrisburg and into the hands of those who really, really need it. Our school districts are the ones we think of most of all, but there are plenty of other agencies that are waiting for funding in order to continue. And it's going to get to the point where people have to start laying others off. Well,
and that's where we want to avoid. And I can promise you, Todd, that we're going to do our best to try and get a budget in place as soon as possible that meets the obligations of this Commonwealth and moves us forward.
He is State Representative Jim Struzzi. Thanks so much for the visit. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Todd. Have a great day.
You too. It is Indiana in the Morning, and it's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com.